there, I'm Chef Ani, and today we are making garlic knots. Now, if you've never made garlic knots before at home, they're super fun to make. Plus, you can freeze them so easily. And then when you want to just add a little pizzazz to your, meal, you just pull them out of the freezer, stick them in the oven for a couple minutes just to heat them up, and then you have fresh, warm garlic knots. These are so delicious. In fact, I made them yesterday and my dad said it was one of the best things he's ever had, which I think is pretty high praise. When you say I can eat so many of these, they are incredible. So I want to get to the eating part of this video, so I think we should get started. So enough talking, let's get cooking. We are going to get started by mixing together the dry ingredients for our dough, starting with some flour, some salt, and we're going to add a little sugar. This helps the yeast because the yeast feeds on the sugar and then it rises better. So that is why we add just a little bit of sugar. It doesn't make this dough sweet, it just makes the yeast very happy and helps it to rise. Next, we're adding some yeast, and it's very important that the water is warm at a good temperature. So I like to just check the temperature of my water, and you want it in between 100 and 110. If it's too hot, it will kill the yeast and you will have a dough that doesn't rise. So it's very important that this is just at the right temperature. I'm stalling for a minute because it's not quite at the right temperature. If you don't have a thermometer, just feel the water with your finger. Just make sure that it's not too hot, just a warm temperature. And we're going to add a little bit of oil to this too. And with clean hands, I like to just knead my dough. Now you can use a mixer to knead the dough and even mix it together. I have a Bosch mixer here and I also have a KitchenAid. Both would definitely work, but today I wanted to prove to you that you can do it by hand if you don't have one of these. Now we're going to let our dough rise in a slightly oiled bowl, and we're just going to cover it and let it rise for about an hour. So I have a dough already made so that we can just keep going with this process. It has been rising for an hour, and as you can see, it is beautifully risen. Very happy dough. So I'm just going to take a little bit of flour and just put it out here, tiny bit. We don't want to pack flour into this dough and make it dry. Kind of make it into a rectangle like this, and we're going to cut it into 4. Take these pieces and leave them to the side and work with one piece at a time. Take this piece of dough and I'm going to try to get it into a nice square, somewhat square shape, just so that it will be easier to cut it into 4. And then I'm going to cut them all in half again. So now you should have 8 little pieces of dough. And you're going to take each one and we're just going to roll it into a snake, not too thin. And for the knot, you just take each side like this, twist it, and then take one of the ends through the hole like that. And that makes your knot. And you don't have to tighten it too much because you want it to have more dough in the middle, but just have little ends peeking out. This can be so fun to do with your family. You can have the kids involved. I mean, this isn't hard to do, to make a little knot like this. Even if your knots aren't perfect and they look a little strange, it doesn't matter because it's gonna taste amazing. And now we're just going to cover with plastic and let these rise. So as you can see, our garlic knots have risen quite a bit. All we have left to do is to pop them in the oven to bake. So while our garlic knots are baking, they're technically not garlic knots yet because they're just knots until we add the garlic. Right now we're going to work on that part, the garlic part. And there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either just slightly, I like to slightly cook my garlic in a little bit of oil just to take a slight edge off of that raw garlic taste. But you know, raw garlic is really good for you. So if you want to use raw garlic on your garlic knots, that's good too. I've definitely tried that and it's amazing. But today I'm just going to show you, if you want to cook it a little bit, here's how you do it. I have a little olive oil in a pot. We're just going to heat that up. I'm just using my crushing machine thing here to get this garlic nicely crushed. But if you don't have one of these, you can use a knife and just cut it really fine. We're just infusing the oil with the garlic as well. That flavor is just getting infused in here. We're going to add a little salt to this. Mince a little fresh parsley. Now, if you don't like fresh parsley, you can just leave it off, but I don't know, it adds the green color, or you could use other herbs, whatever you have. I just like the garlic and parsley combination, but again, if you don't like it, don't use it. Isn't that profound? I'm just going to take the fresh parsley and add it to our garlic mixture here. So our garlic knots have just come out of the oven, and it is now time to take this beautiful parsley and garlic mixture that we have and just spread it on top of them while they're hot. And this is very important that it happens while they're hot. It makes all the difference. Now you can, once they're cool, put them in a freezer bag and put them in your freezer, and they heat up so nicely. Or you can eat them just like this. That's good. I love these, don't you? I'm gonna have another one. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to join me in this adventure to eat healthier, one recipe at a time. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday with another video.